Captain Alex Hunter had never expected his mission to turn into a fight for life. The planet Thaloria, with its sky of shifting emerald clouds, had always seemed peaceful from space. But now, standing in the shadow of the Thalorian royal palace, Alex realized how wrong he had been. The palace walls, usually shining with silver and gold, were scarred with cracks from the first wave of enemy attacks. Explosions shook the ground under his boots, and smoke curled into the sky like angry fingers. Beside him, a Thalorian soldier shouted orders in a language Alex only partially understood. The words were sharp, urgent, filled with fear and command. Despite the chaos, Alex felt calm. Years of training as a human soldier had prepared him for danger, but never for this. The stakes were higher than anything he had ever faced. Here lives hung by a thread, and among them was Princess Liara, the young alien princess he had promised to protect. Alex glanced toward the palace courtyard. Through the smoke he could see her. Liara stood frozen, her violet eyes wide with fear. Her long silver hair fluttered in the heat of the explosions, and her thin frame looked fragile among the rubble. But despite her appearance, there was a fierce determination in her gaze. She would not run. She would not hide. "Princess, move," Alex shouted, running toward her. But before she could react, a blinding light erupted from the side of the palace. A strange device, dark and spherical, hovered in the air. He recognized it immediately from intelligence reports. A high-energy bomb designed to destroy anything in its radius. The enemy had brought it close to the royal wing. "Get down!" Alex yelled, but it was too late. The bomb's energy pulse expanded with deadly speed. Time slowed for Alex. He saw the fear in Liara's eyes, the shimmer of panic on her delicate face. In that moment, there was no hesitation. He dove in front of her, arms outstretched. The blast struck him with crushing force. Pain tore through his body, fire and sound filling every sense. The world spun violently, and his ears rang with a deafening roar. Yet through the chaos, Alex felt something stronger than pain, the certainty that he had saved her. When he lost consciousness, all he could see were flashes of light, hear screams of soldiers, and feel the heat of destruction around him. The palace wall collapsed nearby, and the ground shook violently under the continuing explosions. When Alex opened his eyes, he could barely see. A soft glowing light replaced the harsh flames and smoke. His body ached in ways he had never known. Burns, bruises, and broken bones all screaming at once. He tried to move, but his limbs would not obey. Panic flared in his chest, but it was quickly replaced by relief when he saw her. Princess Liara knelt beside him, her hands glowing with a gentle blue light. The Thalorians had a way to heal injuries quickly, using advanced energy techniques that Alex could not fully understand. Her expression was tense, but her eyes were filled with relief. "You're awake?" she whispered, her voice soft but urgent. You saved my life. You risked everything." Alex tried to smile, but the pain made him wince. "I couldn't let anything happen to you," he managed to say. His voice was hoarse but steady. Liara's gaze softened. "You are brave, not just for saving me, but for standing against them, humans. You are stronger than I thought." Alex blinked, surprised by her words. Humans were not as strong or as advanced as the Thalorians. They had technology far beyond Earth's capabilities, but strength came in many forms. He had learned to survive on courage, strategy, and quick thinking. Apparently, that was enough to impress a princess. Around them, the palace continued to crumble. Some Thalorian soldiers were carrying out the wounded, while others fired at enemy combatants trying to sneak into the royal grounds. Alex felt frustration at his helplessness. He wanted to fight, to help them defend their home, but his body would not allow it. Liara seemed to understand. "Rest," she said gently, placing her hand over his chest. A warm sensation spread through him, easing the pain slightly. "You cannot fight like this. You need to heal. And when you are ready, we will need your strength." Alex nodded, though he hated feeling powerless. He had faced death countless times, but lying here, watching her in danger and not being able to help, made him feel vulnerable in a way he never had before. The Thalorian healers worked quickly. Strange machines hummed around him, scanning his body and applying precise energy pulses to repair his broken bones and mend burns. Alex marveled at their efficiency. Humans had nothing like this. Yet he did not envy their technology. He admired it. Once the healers finished, Liara guided him to a quiet chamber away from the chaos. She moved gracefully, despite the rubble around them, and Alex followed, leaning heavily on his own strength and her support. Inside the chamber, he could finally rest. The walls glowed softly, filled with patterns that seemed alive, shifting colors like the northern lights. Alex's mind wandered. He thought about the explosion, the bomb, and the enemy soldiers. He thought about the choices he had made in his life that led him here. And he thought about Princess Liara, standing there, alive because of him. She watched him quietly, her expression unreadable. Then finally she spoke. "You are different from what I expected, human," she said. "I thought your kind was fragile. I thought humans could not survive in situations like this. But you are strong, stronger than anyone I have known." Alex chuckled weakly, still in pain. "I just do what I must. That's all." Liara shook her head. "No, that is not all. You risked your life for me, for your people, for my people. That is extraordinary." Alex felt a strange warmth in his chest. He had been praised before, but never like this. Never by someone from another world. Yet there was no time to dwell on it. The war was not over. The enemies who had attacked the palace would not stop, and Thaloria still needed defenders. He attempted to rise, but was stopped by a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You must heal first," Liara said firmly. "Then you will fight again. But for now, rest. I will not leave you." Alex closed his eyes, letting exhaustion take him. The room was quiet, the glowing walls softening the sounds of the battlefield outside. For the first time in what felt like hours, he allowed himself to breathe, to let the pain fade slightly. And as he drifted, he thought about what the future would bring. He had survived an explosion, saved a princess, and earned the respect of an alien world. But the universe was vast, and danger lurked in every corner. He knew his journey was only beginning. Somewhere in the shadows, the enemies were regrouping, planning their next strike. But Alex did not fear them. He had faced death today and lived, and with Princess Liara at his side, whether as a friend, ally, or something more, he would stand against any threat that came to Thaloria. And so, in the quiet glow of the chamber, Captain Alex Hunter prepared himself, not just to heal but to fight, to protect, and to prove that humans, though small in number and fragile in form, could be heroes in worlds far beyond their own. When Captain Alex Hunter opened his eyes again, the world looked completely different. Gone were the flames and smoke of the palace. Instead, he found himself in a large chamber with walls that glowed softly with shifting colors like sunlight reflecting on water. Strange, smooth surfaces curved around him, and lights floated in midair, moving slowly as if alive. He tried to sit up but winced as pain shot through his arms and legs. Princess Liara knelt beside him, her hands still glowing faintly with the healing energy she had used before. Her violet eyes were full of concern, and for a moment, Alex forgot all else. "You're awake," she said softly, her voice calm but urgent. "The healers worked through the night. You are strong, human, but you cannot move too quickly." Alex nodded, trying to adjust to the strange surroundings. "Where am I?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "You are in the royal healing chamber," Liara explained. "Our palace has many hidden areas for emergencies. This one is protected and safe. The bomb. It would have killed you if you had not acted." Alex felt the memory of the explosion again, the blinding light, the crushing force, the heat and smoke. His chest tightened. "I remember," he said quietly. I only did what I had to do." Liara smiled faintly, though her eyes were serious. "You did more than what was required. You risked everything. Your courage. It is rare, even among Thalorians." Alex shook his head. "I am just human. Nothing special. I've faced danger before. But this was different. I couldn't let you die." Liara's gaze softened. "That is why I trust you. And soon you will need to trust yourself as well." Alex frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" Before she could answer, the chamber's walls shimmered and a panel opened silently. Several Thalorian healers entered. They were tall, elegant beings with silver hair and pale blue skin, their hands glowing with energy. One of them approached Alex, scanning his body with a floating device that emitted soft blue light. "You have survived injuries that would have ended most lives," the healer said in melodic speech. "Your recovery is remarkable, though the human body is limited. Rest and careful movement are required." Alex nodded, trying to process the alien technology around him. The device hovered over his chest, scanning, repairing, and strengthening in ways he did not understand. He felt warmth spreading through his muscles and bones, easing the pain. Liara watched him silently, then turned to the healers. "He will awaken fully soon. After that, he must be prepared. The enemy is not gone. They will return and the palace must be defended. Alex's chest tightened at her words. He wanted to fight now, to help the Thalorians protect their home, but he could barely sit up. I need to fight, he said. Liara shook her head gently. Not yet. Healing must come first. But when the time comes, you will lead, human. You will show them the strength of your kind. Alex stared at her, unsure what to make of her words. Lead. Humans were few in numbers. How could he, a single man, lead alien warriors against a powerful enemy? And yet, he had survived the bomb. He had saved her life. Perhaps he could do more. The chamber was quiet for a time, except for the soft hum of energy and the faint movement of the floating lights. Alex's mind wandered to the palace outside. The enemy soldiers were still out there, regrouping and planning their next attack. How many lives were at stake? How many soldiers had fallen while he lay unconscious? He turned to Liara. Tell me, how many of them are left? Her expression darkened. The enemy is clever and persistent. They will not stop until Thaloria is destroyed or claimed. We have no choice but to prepare for the next strike, and you will be part of that preparation. Alex swallowed hard. He had faced countless dangers as a soldier, but this was different. These beings were not human. Their technology, their skills, and their world were beyond what he knew. Yet the fire inside him burned the same. He could not fail. Not now, not when so many lives depended on him. Liara led him through the chamber to a window. Beyond it, the sky was a swirl of green clouds and golden light. The city stretched below, partially destroyed but still alive. Thalorian soldiers patrolled the streets and walls, their weapons glowing softly, their movements precise and graceful. They are our people, Liara said quietly. And they will fight, but they need a plan, and a leader who can see beyond what they know. That is why you are here, human. Alex felt a mix of pride and fear. Leadership was a heavy burden, especially on a world not his own. But the thought of letting Liara or anyone else die was unbearable. He nodded slowly. I will do my best, he said. Liara's lips curved in a small smile. That is all I ask, and you will not be alone. I will stand with you. Over the next few hours, Alex learned more about the Thalorians and their world. Their technology was astounding. They had energy shields, weapons that could cut through steel, and machines that moved with incredible speed and precision. But it was not just their technology that impressed him. It was their discipline, their courage, and their determination to protect each other. He was introduced to the Royal Council, a group of Thalorian leaders who would oversee the defense of the city. Some of them were wary of humans, questioning whether Alex could truly help. Others respected his bravery, having witnessed his actions during the explosion. One counselor, a tall woman with silver hair and piercing blue eyes, spoke cautiously. The human survived an explosion that would have killed even the strongest of us. Yet, can he truly fight alongside Thalorians? Can he command them if necessary? Liara stepped forward. He has already shown courage that surpasses many Thalorians. He risked his life for me. That proves more than words ever could. Trust him. The council murmured among themselves, and Alex felt their eyes on him, evaluating him, judging him. He did not flinch. Humans had learned to face impossible odds, and he was no exception. That night, as the city quieted and the wounded were cared for, Alex stood with Liara on a balcony overlooking the glowing streets. The air was warm and scented with strange, sweet flowers. Stars sparkled above, distant and familiar, reminding him of home. You do not belong here, human, Liara said softly, almost to herself. And yet, you may be the one who saves us all. Alex looked at her. I may be far from home, but I will do what I must. That is all I can do. She nodded, her violet eyes reflecting the stars. Then we are both ready for what comes next, together. Alex felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. He was no longer just a human soldier far from Earth. Here on Thaloria, he had a role to play, a chance to protect a world and a princess who believed in him. And though the enemy would return, stronger and more determined than before, he knew that courage, ingenuity, and the will to protect others could overcome even the greatest odds. In the quiet of the night, Alex prepared himself for the days to come. He did not know the full extent of the enemy's plans or the challenges he would face, but he knew this: he would not fail. He would protect Princess Liara, defend Thaloria, and show the galaxy that humans, though fragile in form, were capable of extraordinary courage and strength. And somewhere deep inside, he felt the bond forming between himself and the princess. It was not just respect or gratitude. It was trust, and trust was stronger than any weapon, stronger than any shield. The future was uncertain, and danger waited beyond every horizon. But Captain Alex Hunter was awake. He was ready, and Thaloria would not fall while he drew breath. Captain Alex Hunter's recovery continued, but he could not sit idly while the enemy regrouped outside the palace walls. Even as his body healed, his mind raced with strategies and plans. The human way of thinking, an unpredictable mixture of instinct, ingenuity, and experience, could be an advantage the Thalorians had never seen before. Liara noticed his restlessness. "You must heal fully first," she said gently. "The enemy is clever. They will attack again and you will need all your strength." Alex shook his head, determination flashing in his eyes. "Healing is important, yes, but I also need to know what I'm up against. I cannot fight blind." Liara studied him for a long moment, then nodded. "Very well. You will see for yourself, but you must understand our ways. Our soldiers fight with precision, discipline, and coordination. You will need to learn these skills quickly if you are to survive and help us defend the palace." The next morning, Alex was escorted to a large training hall deep within the palace. It was a magnificent space, its walls glowing softly, filled with Thalorian warriors practicing combat drills. The humans' weapons were primitive in comparison, but Alex knew that skill and strategy could overcome even superior technology. A tall Thalorian named Kael approached him. His hair was silver like Liara's, his skin pale blue, and his eyes sharp as a hawk's. "You are the human who survived the explosion?" Kael asked, his voice calm but firm. Alex nodded. "I am, and I want to help." Kael studied him silently. "Then you will learn quickly. We do not have time for mistakes. The enemy is gathering forces, and the next strike may be devastating." Alex followed Kael as he demonstrated the unique fighting style of the Thalorian warriors. Their movements were precise, almost dance-like, with weapons that glowed with energy. Alex watched carefully, noting how each movement flowed seamlessly into the next, how they anticipated attacks before they happened. He realized that the Thalorians were fast, disciplined, and highly skilled. But there was one weakness: predictability. Their movements, while precise, followed strict patterns. Alex had spent years in unpredictable combat, improvising when necessary. Perhaps his human ingenuity could fill the gaps in their strategy. Days passed as Alex trained, learning to use Thalorian weapons, shields, and energy techniques. His body was still weak from the explosion, but his mind sharpened with each session. Slowly, the Thalorian warriors began to see his value, not just as a soldier, but as someone who could think differently, adapt quickly, and act boldly. One evening, Liara visited him in the training hall. She had been observing his progress quietly, her expression thoughtful. "You move differently from our warriors," she said. "You do not follow the rules blindly. You see openings they do not." Alex smiled faintly. "Humans have to adapt. We survive because we can think on our feet, even when the odds are against us." Liara's eyes sparkled. "And that is why you are important. Not just to me, but to all of Thaloria." Alex felt a sense of pride he had never experienced before. He was far from Earth, on a world filled with beings stronger, faster, and more advanced than humans, and yet here he was, recognized for his courage, skill, and quick thinking. The day came when scouts reported enemy movements near the palace perimeter. Alex was brought to the War Council, where Thalorian leaders discussed the incoming threat. "The enemy has deployed advanced units," said one counselor, a stern woman with piercing eyes. "They have learned from their last attack. They will attempt a full-scale assault within the next 3 days." Liara's expression hardened. "We cannot underestimate them. But we also have advantages they do not expect. Alex, your human tactics will be critical. I trust you to lead a team in preparing defenses." Alex nodded. "I'll need to know the terrain, their numbers, and their weapons. And I want a mixed team. Thalorians and humans together. We can combine our strengths." There was a moment of silence as the council considered his words. Some were hesitant. Could a human truly lead alien warriors? But Liara's firm gaze left no room for doubt. "Very well," she said. "Let it be as he says. You will prepare the defenses." Alex quickly began planning. He studied the palace grounds, noting choke points, high vantage areas, and weak spots. He met with Thalorian engineers to enhance energy shields, redirect power to key positions, and set up traps for incoming enemy units. Despite his limited understanding of Thalorian technology, Alex found ways to improvise. He suggested using human tactics, flanking maneuvers, unpredictable retreats, and feints. The Thalorians were skeptical at first, but as he explained each step logically, they began to see the potential of combining human cunning with their own superior weapons. By nightfall, Alex's team was ready. A mix of humans and Thalorian soldiers practiced together, learning to anticipate each other's moves, building trust and coordination. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a leader, guiding warriors from another world to defend their home. During a quiet moment, Liara approached him again. "You are not alone, Alex. They trust you, even if some hesitate, and I trust you completely." Alex looked at her, understanding the weight of her words. Trust was powerful. It could inspire courage, build alliances, and even save lives. He nodded. "I won't let anyone down. Not you, not the soldiers, and not Thaloria." Her lips curved in a small, faint smile. "I know. That is why you survived the explosion. Fate brought you here." Alex shook his head, half in disbelief, half in admiration. "I just did what I had to do. Fate, maybe, but courage? That I can control." Liara's eyes softened. "Then we are ready. The enemy will come and we will face them together." In the following days, Alex continued to train and prepare the defenses. He studied enemy tactics, learned more about Thalorian energy weapons, and helped develop strategies that combined human improvisation with Thalorian precision. Slowly, the mixed teams began to function seamlessly, moving with coordination and understanding that impressed even the most skeptical Thalorian warriors. The night before the expected attack, Alex stood on the balcony with Liara, looking over the glowing city below. The air was thick with tension, but also with determination. Every soldier, every energy shield, every trap, they were ready. And Alex knew that courage, ingenuity, and human determination would make the difference. "Tomorrow," Liara said softly, "we either defend our home or we fall. But I believe in you, Alex, and I believe in us." Alex felt a surge of determination. "Then we will not fail. I promise." And with that promise, he turned to face the coming storm. The enemy would come. They would bring fire, destruction, and death. But they had not counted on human courage, on adaptability, and on the strength of a human who refused to give up. He was ready to show them that humans, though small and fragile compared to Thalorians, could be heroes in worlds far beyond their own. The morning of the enemy assault dawned quietly, almost deceptively. The sky above Thaloria was a swirl of green clouds and gold light, casting an eerie glow over the city. Captain Alex Hunter stood at the top of the palace wall, surveying the landscape with sharp eyes. Below, Thalorian soldiers moved into position, their weapons glowing softly, their movements precise and disciplined. Mixed squads of humans and Thalorians adjusted energy shields, checked weapons, and took their positions at choke points Alex had identified. Beside him, Princess Liara stood tall, her expression focused. She had grown more confident with each day, her violet eyes filled with determination. "Are you ready?" she asked quietly. Alex nodded. "As ready as I can be. Remember, stay calm, follow the plan, and trust each other. That's how we win." Liara's lips curved into a small, faint smile. "Then let them come." The enemy arrived with a roar, their ships cutting through the sky like dark streaks. Hundreds of units poured toward the palace walls, their weapons flashing with deadly energy. Alex's heart raced, but he kept his focus. This was the moment they had trained for. "Hold the line," he shouted, rallying the mixed squads. "Do not let them break through. Watch each other's backs." The first wave struck with brutal force. Explosions shook the ground and energy blasts lit up the battlefield. The Thalorian soldiers' training allowed them to respond quickly, but the enemy was relentless, their tactics unpredictable. Alex moved through the battlefield, shouting orders, pointing out weak spots, and coordinating attacks. Where a Thalorian would follow protocol, Alex improvised. He led small flanking maneuvers, used the environment to their advantage, and directed energy strikes where the enemy least expected them. His human strategies began to turn the tide. The enemy, expecting only disciplined responses, was caught off guard by unpredictable human tactics. Mixed squads of humans and Thalorians worked together, covering each other, adapting to the chaos with speed and efficiency. In the middle of the battle, a group of enemy soldiers broke through one of the secondary gates. Alex spotted them moving toward the palace interior, their weapons aimed at the royal chamber. Without hesitation, he dashed forward, positioning himself between the enemy and Princess Liara. "Stay behind me," he shouted, raising his own weapon. The enemy fired, but Alex used his agility and quick thinking to dodge and deflect the energy blasts. He led them into a trap he had prepared, a concealed energy net that immobilized several units at once. The Thalorian warriors joined him, finishing off the remaining attackers with precise strikes. Liara watched in awe. "You are incredible," she whispered to herself, though someone nearby could have heard. Alex didn't hear her. His focus remained on the battlefield. But deep inside he felt a warmth, a sense of connection with this world, with these people, and with Liara herself. As the battle continued, Alex noticed a group of enemy heavy units advancing from a distant ridge. Their weapons were powerful, capable of destroying even Thalorian shields with a single shot. "We cannot stop them with conventional methods," a Thalorian officer said. Panic rising in his voice, Alex clenched his jaw. He had an idea. "Lead them toward the canyon," he said quickly. "Use their weight against them. Their weapons are strong, but they can't maneuver well in tight spaces." The Thalorians hesitated. "It could work, but it is risky," another officer said. "Risk is part of winning," Alex replied firmly. "Trust me." Following his instructions, the squads maneuvered, luring the heavy units into the canyon. When the enemy entered, Alex triggered a series of energy pulses from hidden cannons, creating a controlled collapse that trapped the units without harming the surrounding city. The Thalorian soldiers cheered, and even some council members watching from the palace walls nodded in approval. Alex had proven that human ingenuity, combined with Thalorian strength, could overcome the deadliest threats. Later, the enemy commander personally entered the battlefield, a towering figure clad in dark armor. Its presence was terrifying, and a silence fell over the remaining enemy forces. Alex saw it moving toward the royal chamber, aiming directly for Liara. Without hesitation, he ran toward it, flanking the commander and drawing its attention. Energy blasts flew, explosions rocked the ground. But Alex kept moving, using his speed and quick thinking to stay out of harm's way. Liara, seeing the danger, activated her own energy shields and joined the fight, fighting alongside him. Together, Human and Princess pushed back the enemy commander. Each strike, each maneuver, showed the strength of their bond, the human courage, the Thalorian skill working together flawlessly. Finally, Alex noticed a weak point in the enemy commander's armor, an exposed energy conduit along its side. Using all his strength and precise timing, he launched a focused strike. The armor shattered, and the commander fell, defeated. The remaining enemy forces scattered, retreating quickly from the battlefield. The Thalorian city was safe for now. After the battle, Alex collapsed to the ground, exhausted but victorious. Thalorian soldiers surrounded him, some cheering, some kneeling in respect. Princess Liara approached him, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You did it," she said softly, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You saved us all." Alex shook his head, smiling faintly. "We did it. You fought bravely too." "The soldiers, they followed because they trusted us both." Liara nodded. "Yes, but your courage made the difference. You showed them that even a human can be a hero." Alex felt a surge of pride. Humans were not the strongest species, not the fastest, and not the most advanced. Yet here on Thaloria, his courage, quick thinking, and determination had made the difference between life and death for thousands. The city slowly began to recover. Energy shields were repaired, wounded soldiers were healed, and the palace was reinforced against future attacks. Alex spent hours helping organize defenses, sharing his strategies and training the soldiers to think creatively in battle. At night, Liara found him on the palace balcony, looking out at the city below. The stars shimmered above, familiar yet distant, reminding him of Earth and everything he had left behind. "You were amazing today," Liara said softly, standing beside him. "I have never seen such courage. Not in Thaloria, not in anyone." Alex turned to her, brushing dirt and sweat from his face. "I just did what I had to do." "That's all any soldier can do." Liara shook her head. "It is more than that. You inspire hope. You show that one life, one choice can change everything." That is what makes you extraordinary. Alex looked at her, realizing that their bond had deepened in ways he had not expected. They were not just allies in battle. They were partners united by trust and shared purpose. As dawn approached, Alex stood once more on the balcony, the city quiet and glowing in the morning light. The enemy had been defeated for now, but he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast and threats were everywhere. Yet for the first time, Alex felt truly confident. He was far from home on a world filled with danger and wonder, but he had proven himself. Humans, though small and fragile in appearance, could rise to extraordinary challenges. They could lead, inspire, and protect even alien civilizations. And beside him, Princess Liara smiled, her violet eyes reflecting hope, courage, and trust. Together they would face whatever came next. The battle had been won. But the war for Thaloria's future, and the bond between human and princess, was only beginning. The days following the battle were filled with rebuilding and recovery. The streets of Thaloria were alive with activity, soldiers repairing walls, engineers restoring energy systems, and citizens cautiously returning to their homes. The once terrified city now buzzed with hope, and at the heart of that hope was Captain Alex Hunter, the human who had changed the course of their struggle. Alex moved among the workers and soldiers, helping where he could. His human strength and quick thinking made him valuable in ways even the Thalorian technology could not replicate. He coordinated efforts to restore the city's energy shields, organized patrols to prevent surprise attacks, and taught soldiers improvisational tactics that had turned the tide during the last battle. Through it all, Princess Liara stayed by his side. She observed him with a mixture of admiration and something deeper: trust, respect, and a bond forged in fire and danger. "You've done more than anyone could expect," she said quietly as they walked through the palace gardens, now slowly returning to their former beauty. "Thaloria owes you its life." Alex shook his head, brushing a hand over his forehead, tired but satisfied. "I just did what had to be done. You and your people fought bravely too. I was just in the right place at the right time." Liara stopped walking and looked at him seriously. "No, it was your courage, your choices that made the difference. You saved lives, inspired soldiers, and showed that even a single human can change the fate of a world. That is extraordinary." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. Humans were small in the galaxy, often overlooked and underestimated, yet here, his actions had earned respect from an entire alien civilization. He realized that courage, selflessness, and quick thinking were universal, transcending species, planets, and technology. The Royal Council called a ceremony in the palace's central hall, a magnificent structure of glowing panels and flowing light. Thalorian leaders, soldiers, and citizens gathered to honor the defenders of their city. Alex was escorted to the front, standing beside Liara as the council spoke. "You have all witnessed bravery beyond measure," Liara announced, her voice carrying clearly to every corner of the hall. "Today we honor those who defended Thaloria when hope seemed lost. Among them is a human, Captain Alex Hunter, whose courage and ingenuity have saved our people from certain destruction." The crowd erupted into applause, some cheering, others bowing in respect. Alex felt a strange mixture of pride and humility. He had never sought recognition. His duty was to protect and survive. Yet the acknowledgement from a civilization far beyond his own was deeply moving. A counselor stepped forward and placed a ceremonial medallion around Alex's neck. It glowed softly, a symbol of honor and trust from Thaloria itself. "You are now not only a hero of Thaloria," the counselor said, "but a symbol of what humans can achieve when guided by courage and wisdom." Alex felt the weight of the words, the glow of the medallion, and the presence of countless eyes filled with admiration and gratitude. He could barely speak, so he bowed his head in thanks, silently promising to continue defending this world that had welcomed him as more than an outsider. After the ceremony, Alex and Liara walked through the palace gardens. The air was warm, fragrant with alien flowers, and the city below shimmered with life. Citizens moved freely, children played near restored fountains, and soldiers kept watch, alert but no longer fearful. "You've changed everything here," Liara said softly. "Not just with your fighting, but with your spirit. You have shown us what humans can do, how courage, trust, and quick thinking can make a difference even against impossible odds." Alex looked at her, realizing how much he had grown. He was no longer just a human soldier far from home. He had become a leader, a protector, and someone who had earned the trust of an alien world. I could not have done it without your people. Without you. We fought together, and that made all the difference. Liara's violet eyes softened. Yes, together, and I owe you more than I can ever say. You risked everything for me. You risked your life to save Thaloria. That courage. It is rare in any species. Alex felt a surge of warmth, not from pride, but from the bond they shared. Trust had grown into something stronger. A connection forged through danger, courage, and shared purpose. In the following days, Alex worked closely with the Thalorian leaders to strengthen the city's defenses. Scouts reported enemy movements in distant regions, but the Thalorian forces, guided by human ingenuity and their own skill, were prepared. Alex trained soldiers in human tactics, teaching them how to think unpredictably, to adapt quickly, and to coordinate in ways that had once seemed impossible. Liara often joined him, watching his methods and sometimes participating in training exercises. Together they created a force that was both disciplined and adaptive, ready to face any threat. One evening, as the sun set and the sky turned golden green, Alex and Liara stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the city. The streets were calm, lights glowing softly, citizens moving freely and soldiers patrolling quietly. Peace had returned, at least for now. You've done more than I ever imagined, Liara said quietly. Thaloria owes you its life, and I owe you my trust. Alex smiled faintly. We've done this together. That's what matters. Courage is nothing if it stands alone, and neither is trust. She nodded, her eyes reflecting the twilight glow. Then we stand together, not just for today, but for whatever comes next. Alex felt a sense of purpose that went beyond duty. He had come to Thaloria as a soldier, but he had become something more, a symbol of human courage, a leader, and a trusted ally. He realized that humans, though often underestimated, could rise to extraordinary challenges in worlds far beyond their own. Days turned into weeks, and the city gradually returned to normal. Markets reopened, children played in the streets, and the soldiers remained vigilant but confident. Alex continued to train with the Thalorians, improving their tactics and learning more about their culture. The bond between him and Liara deepened, rooted in trust, shared struggles, and mutual respect. One afternoon, as they walked through the gardens, Liara paused and looked at him with a serious expression. Alex, the galaxy is vast and threats will always exist, but you have shown that even one human can change the course of events. That is a lesson I will never forget. Alex looked at her, feeling the weight of her words. Then I will keep proving it, not just here, but wherever I am needed. Courage is universal. It does not belong to one species. It belongs to those who are willing to act. Liara smiled softly. And that is why you are extraordinary. Not because you are human, but because you are brave, thoughtful, and selfless. You have taught us all a lesson we will carry forward. Alex nodded, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He had faced death, led alien warriors, saved a princess, and earned the respect of an entire civilization. He had proven that humans could be heroes, even in worlds far beyond their own. As night fell over Thaloria, the city glowed with soft lights, the palace standing tall as a symbol of resilience and hope. Alex stood with Liara on the balcony, looking at the stars above. He thought of Earth, of his home, and of all the battles he had faced. And yet he knew that this world, these people, and the bond he had formed with Liara had changed him in ways he could never have imagined. You've saved more than a city, Liara whispered. You've saved hope, and you've shown what humanity can truly achieve. Alex smiled faintly, looking at her. Then let's keep showing them, together. And in that quiet moment, with the stars shining above and the city safe below, Captain Alex Hunter realized the truth. Humans, though small in the galaxy, could rise to greatness through courage, determination, and the will to protect others. The universe was vast, full of challenges and dangers, but he knew one thing for certain. Wherever he went, whatever he faced, he would never underestimate the power of a human heart. And with Princess Liara at his side, he was ready for whatever the future might bring.